Thank you, Daniel Nemad. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sentiment. Welcome, Agape Nation. Welcome, Agape family. I'm so honored to get to be with you all today. You are my spiritual family, so I'm grateful that we get to gather as a spiritual family. And I come today with a question for you. Raise your hand right where you're seated if you've ever played small in your life. Have you ever dimmed yourself down, perhaps thinking you would spare another person to feel uncomfortable? Have you ever played small? Have you ever dimmed your own sparkle in your own life? If so, raise your hand right where you're seated. I'm joining you. Now, this month, Reverend Michael has been speaking about soulful success. And last week, he said that in order to achieve true soulful success, we need to start with a dream. So he asked, do you have a dream? And then he asked, do you remember? Anyone watch last week? He asked, do you have a bodacious dream? I loved that. He said, is your dream bodacious? So I'm asking you, is your dream bodacious? Do you have a dream, and is it a bodacious dream? So last week, I was part of a virtual retreat. Our board of trustees had a retreat with Reverend Michael, and he was guiding us through a visioning process. And in that visioning process, during that time, I was feeling so good. I'm in a chapter of my life where I'm just feeling really good about how I'm showing up. I'm feeling really comfortable in my own skin. I'm feeling really good about the way that I'm showing up in my life, in my marriage. Jamie and I are just getting closer and closer during this time of COVID. I'm feeling really good about the way I'm showing up for our son Will, and he's just growing to be this stellar young adult. I'm feeling really good in this visioning about the way I'm showing up for my clients, and my business is booming, and I'm just feeling really good. I have a few friends who are going through challenges, and I'm feeling really good about the way that I'm showing up for them. So we're in this visioning process, and I'm feeling really good, and my heart is really expanding until Reverend Michael says, and now we're going to share our vision with each other. So I'm wondering if this has ever happened to any of you. I'm going to ask you right now, before we go on, if you would, to just gently close your eyes right where you are. Feel into a space in your life, a way in your life, a time in your life that you legitimately, authentically, in a real, meaningful way just feel good. It doesn't have to be anything large. It could be you feel good for the kind individual that you are. Maybe you're working on becoming more self-compassionate. Maybe you're working on opening your heart just a little more, being a little less protected in your life. Maybe you're feeling that bodacious dream. It's calling you, it's pushing you. But whatever it is, a space and a place in your life that you sincerely, authentically just feel good. And allow yourself to just in this moment feel what it feels like to feel good, unabashedly good. Let yourself, allow yourself. This is where I was. I was feeling expanded. I was feeling good. I was feeling open until Reverend Michael had to say, now we're going to share our vision with each other. And then this loud, booming voice in my own mind, of course, said, are you kidding? Are you crazy? Are you insane? You cannot share that out loud. You're going to sound so arrogant. You can't share that, how good you feel. You can't tell them you're all that. One of the other board members, they might be going through a challenge. And if they're going through a challenge, then you're going to seem insensitive. You can't be like all kumbaya when somebody else is going through a challenge in their life. And then there was a more quiet voice, a more subtle voice. It was like a tapping on my shoulders. Does this ever happen to you? It's like a whisper. It said, don't be insensitive. Don't share. They might judge you. They might not accept you, then you're not going to belong. So in that moment, I'm feeling really good, and I'm hearing these voices, And this is why I love the word thrive. And this is why we need permission to thrive today. So I'm asking, maybe you've had the same feeling. You're feeling authentically, legitimately good. And then either a voice in your own mind, your past circumstances, your past situations, something in your outer life, something is telling you to put on the brakes. Something's telling you speak up just a little less. Something's telling you to just be a little less sparkly, a little less glittery. You might be hiding your sparkles under a bushel. Something stops you, something tries to stop you in your path. But I love the word thrive. I love the word thrive for so many reasons. First of all, thrive is a verb. It's an action. And the definition of the word thrive is to flourish vigorously. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I want to flourish in my life. And I want to flourish vigorously. So if you want to flourish vigorously in your life, right where you are, raise your hand. Open up to it, right? Flourish vigorously. And the next definition of the word thrive says to flourish vigorously in the midst of and in spite of the situations and circumstances that may be going on in your life. So think about this. It's giving us permission by its very definition to flourish vigorously in the midst of and in spite of whatever might be going on in our circumstance or in our mind. So I knew in that moment I needed to share anyway. I needed to become vulnerable, authentic, and share anyway. This definition of the word thrive is actually a very metaphysical definition if you think about it. It's actually a very quantum principle if you think about it, right? Metaphysical means beyond the physical. So in the very definition, it says, in the midst of circumstances and situations. So it's teaching us that we don't need to deny or push away or resist any situations or any circumstances in our life. We are often taught, and culture teaches us, that we live in a duality, either or, right, wrong. Correct? Culture doesn't teach us how to be in relationship with the challenges that we might be going through. So we end up on a seesaw. We either are feeling really good because nothing's going on, and we're certainly not going to address it if it is, and we're feeling really good, spiritual bypass, all is well, or we're on the other side of the seesaw, and we identify so much with the challenge that we think we are the challenge, and the challenge itself and our thoughts about the challenge itself ends up taking us on a downward spiral. Can you relate to this? The seesaw, right? In a blink of an eye, in the snap of a finger, that seemingly, or the thoughts about the challenge in your life has you going on a downward spiral before you even realize it. But the definition of thrive says, in the midst of whatever is going on, you don't have to deny it, you don't have to resist it. You can choose to lift your vibration and choose to flourish vigorously. This is also a quantum idea, right? Because it's telling us that two different things can occupy the same space at the same time. It's telling us that we don't have to choose an either or. We don't have to choose to be all spiritually bypassed and all is well without really addressing what's going on in a deep and grappling way. And it's also telling us that we don't have to be afraid, we don't have to resist, we don't have to deny what's happening. And when you do this, when you don't deny, when you're willing to grapple with what's going on and not be identified with it and not let it take you down and simultaneously decide to thrive anyway, what happens is that within your own body temple, you are recalibrated. Whatever thoughts you have about conditions and past and challenges are recalibrated in your nervous system. Your brain chemistry is literally recalibrated and rewired. The synapses in your brain are literally recalibrated. You are realigned from the inside out. You're recalibrated from the inside out. And what do we know about the universe? The universe is a reflective universe. The universe mirrors us. And so when we recalibrate ourselves, when we realign ourselves from the inside out, then the universe then realigns everything and recalibrates everything in our outer world, and Synchronicity happens. The perfect individual calls you at the perfect time in an unexpected way. Things open up. You have an inner breakthrough. Your heart opens, and then everything in your outer world reflects that and aligns with that. I heard a quote a few weeks ago that I just love by August Wilson. And he said, "For those who dare to grapple with your demons, you cause your angels to sing." For those of you who dare to grapple with your demons, you cause your angels to sing. This is another quantum principle, really. It's saying when you dare to grapple with what is real in your life, but not be seduced by it, your angels sing. You rise up into the high vibration of the angelic realm. Your very decision allows you to rise up in consciousness. Are you willing to do this? Are you ready to do this? You know, we as a board of trustees, when the pandemic first began, we got together with Reverend Michael and we made a decision together. We didn't deny that there's a global pandemic happening. We didn't deny that people are losing their jobs. We aren't denying that there is a long-standing systemic racism happening in this country that needs to be addressed. And in the midst of that, and in spite of that, and because of that, we decided, we chose, we are deciding, we are choosing right now to rise anyway, to elevate our consciousness anyway, to expand our consciousness, to vigorously thrive, to vigorously flourish, to bloom, to blossom, to sing, to sail, to soar, to shine in the midst of what is happening. Why is this so important? Because as we decide to expand and elevate our consciousness in the midst of what's happening, we become a larger container. We become a container of higher frequency. We become the container that knows that we are connected to an infinite source, an infinite presence that is unending, unbounded, unlimited, unabashed. And so we expand the container that we are. We are expanding the container that we are as Agape. And therefore, we were able to add more prayer classes, add more meditation time, add community gatherings. We become a larger container to hold all those around the globe who need to hear these teachings, who are hungry and thirsty for these teachings because of the situations and circumstances that are happening in the outer world. You see, we're not denying it. We're rising because of it. So just be present in your own mind, in your own heart, for what it is that is calling you right now in your life, what it is that is pushing you, prompting you to have a breakthrough, a breakout. And yes, you may be going through some challenges in your own life. Are you willing to rise anyway? Perhaps you're a parent and you have 3 children and they are on 3 different Zoom screens in the day because you're having to distance learn. And you're trying to work from home. That's a challenge. That's happening. You don't need to deny that, but please don't let it entice you to pull you down. Decide in the midst of it, in spite of it, that you are going to flourish. You're going to shine. You're going to soar. You're not going to hide any of your sparkles, right? Perhaps you did lose your job. Perhaps you are going through a financial challenge or a health challenge. Decide to thrive in the midst of it. Yes, you might want to clean up how you're eating. You might need to make some different food choices. You might decide to start taking systemic enzymes, and you might decide to start eating more fresh produce and drink some celery juice and exercise and work out and take some yoga classes and learn deep breathing. Yes, you might be inspired to do all of that when you decide to rise and elevate your consciousness in the midst of whatever is happening. So I love this word thrive because it gives us permission to have a both and experience rather than an either or experience. Are you with me? Many of us in this nation watched the inauguration last week. I was particularly enamored, as probably many of you, with this 22-year-old, you know who I'm talking about, brilliant, exquisite being, Amanda Gorman, poet, spoke The Hill That We Climb. And I saw an interview with her, Anderson Cooper, after the inauguration. And she was talking about how she had been intensely preparing for this ever since November. She had been doing research, and then the insurrection happened on January 6th. And she had a moment where she was grappling with whether she was going to include this in the poem or not. And she said she grappled with it. And she said that the moment that she decided, of course I need to include this in the poem, at that moment was the moment that everything came together for her in that poem. The poem came together when she made that decision. She also said that at the end, the last 3 lines of that poem are just exquisite. A new dawn blooms when we are brave enough to see it, when we are brave enough to be it. And she said she grappled with that last line, to be brave enough to be it, because she wondered, is it too much? Obviously, she decided yes. She followed her promptings. She was true to herself. She was authentic to her calling. And we have this amazing poem, this dynamically brilliant, powerful poem, because this individual dared to grapple and be true to herself, to stand forward with her voice full. This is our invitation together. This is our mandate together. We are being called in the midst of and in spite of any situation and circumstance that you might find yourself in, to make the decision to thrive anyway, to expand anyway, to be true to yourself anyway. That weekend after our board meeting, the board retreat, after I had shared, I felt so good that weekend. I was buzzing that weekend. I was so alive that weekend. Why? Because I had been true to myself. And I felt expanded that weekend. And then on Sunday, I had a spiritual experience. I had a spiritual awakening. I was meditating, and I felt like I was at the height of the moon. I was literally as high as the moon looking down at earth. I was so high, my perspective was so high and so elevated that I could see all of planet Earth. And I could see myself on planet Earth. And I could see all the ways that I have ever put a ceiling on my own head. And I could see that every one of those ceilings that I've ever placed upon my own head has always been self-imposed. That a ceiling is an illusion, that there are no ceilings. Are you willing to know this as your life? I could see from that high perspective, from the height of the moon looking down at the earth, I could see all of humanity, and my heart was breaking for all of humanity as I saw how each of us and all of us together put these ceilings upon us that are an illusion. Because we've been taught, because we've been conditioned, because we agree. And so I'm here to share that there is no ceiling. We are free, we are liberated, we are unencumbered by a presence and a God that is unlimited, that wants only for each of us, for all of us to thrive in the midst of whatever is going on. And it vigorously supports us. So right where you are, know that you are vigorously supported. So just gently close your eyes one last time with me. Call forward that good feeling again. Maybe it's a place that you are committing to keep your heart open just a little bit more, to be just a little less protected in your life, to be maybe just a little more loving in your heart, to be a little more self-compassionate, to be a little more kind to yourself and others. Maybe it's a way that you are finally saying yes to that dream, to that bodacious dream that Reverend Michael talked about. To be bold enough, to be brave enough, to see yourself through, to elevate anyway, to expand anyway, to rise up anyway, to have your voice anyway, to speak out anyway, to speak up anyway, to be all that sparkle, all that glitter that you are here to be. that you are deciding not to hide your sparkle under a bushel any longer. Feel into that. Let it be alive within you. Let your own body temple buzz with it, vibrate with it. Don't let anything hold you back. Don't let anyone hold you back, most especially the thoughts in your own mind. And see from this high perspective of the moon all the way down to the earth that you are the only one that is holding any ceiling above you, that it's an illusion. It's not in alignment with the Spirit of God that we know that is infinitely loving and supportive and generous, and provides for us everything that we need to thrive today. Decide this, declare this in your own consciousness, in your own way, in your own being. And as you are saying this inner yes, just allow this to reverberate within your being. I give myself full permission to thrive. I give myself full permission to know there is no ceiling in my life. There is no ceiling to the amount of love that I can give and receive in my life. I give myself permission to know that there is no ceiling. There is no ceiling to my radiant, vital, perfect, dynamic health. There is no ceiling to my abundance and prosperity, opulence, financial health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health. There is no ceiling. I am free. I am liberated. I am unencumbered. From the height of the moon, from the height of a mountaintop, there is no ceiling above us. The sky is the limit. There are no walls. There are no limitations. See yourself absolutely unabashedly free. And say to yourself, I give myself permission to thrive. I give myself permission to thrive. Will you give yourself this permission? The answer is yes. Thank you. Thank you. And let us, thank you. Thank you. And let us, right where you are, let us together anchor this in a moment of prayer. Let us anchor this. Let us rise high into the high and holy vibration of prayer. So I invite you to just gently close your eyes right where you are. How deeply grateful I am to get to be in fellowship here, to get to join together with my spiritual family, that we get to join together from all parts of the globe, all parts of earth. Everyone is represented here. Everyone is included here. No one or no thing is denied or left out. And so it is from this vast, inclusive presence, place, and energy that I invite you all to rest into your own heart, to allow your mind to rest. Because I know right now that there is only just this one presence. It is unlimited. It is unabashed. It is everywhere presence. It is the power of love. Pure, pristine, unconditional love. A love that transcends all conditions. This love is right here. This creativity, this inspiration, this opulence, prosperity, perfect health, dynamic well-being. It is right here. It is my nature. It is vibrating, alive within me. I know this presence. And I know this presence to be my life. And I know this presence to be your life. I know this presence to be the life of our beloved Agape family. This is who we are. Feel the vibration. Allow yourself to feel this vibration, to let your heart say yes to this vibration. What I am knowing for each of you, for all of you, for each of us, for all of us, is radiant, dynamic, vital, dynamic health, perfect health now, wholeness now, enoughness now. I know for you right where you are, absolute creativity, inspiration. I know that you are one with the one right now and that you know this to be the truth of your nature. I know that you are being sourced and resourced by this one power, this one presence. You are being refreshed, renewed, restored, revitalized right now. The cells of your body are birthing themselves into wholeness right now. This is your nature. This is the way it is. So I know abundance, I know prosperity, I know opulence, lavish opulence. Most of all, I know that we are all flourishing. I know that we are all vigorously flourishing right now. I know this for us as individuals. I know this for us as a dynamic spiritual family that has work to do on this planet. I know that right where Reverend Mike Bernard Beckwith is, he is blessed. He is being restored and revitalized, refreshed, made whole, that he may continue to do this mighty work on the planet. I know this for every ministry here, every practitioner here, every minister here, every staff member here, every congregant here, every student here, everyone around this planet. You right now, vigorously flourishing. You're manifesting your bodacious dream right now. And we move into the part of the prayer where we hold for each other. If there is someone that you are holding in prayer, call them into your heart right now. You can say their name out loud. We pay this prayer forward right now, and we hold in our hearts. Dear Agape member Clay Pruitt, we hold him in our hearts. We hold Davina Katowski and her mom, Janice, for Ray in our hearts right now. We are generous with our prayers. We hold them. We hold Adriana Catet for her cousin, Dilson. We're generous. We hold them. We become a container for them. We see them in their wholeness. And for those who are holding individuals who have made their transition to that next realm, who are free and unencumbered, we hold our beloved Terry Miles, Terry, Albert, and their entire family for her mom, Roslyn, who has made her transition. She is free, but we hold peace for this family, this beloved family, Terry, in our hearts. We hold for Brianna Doreen, Aria Patricia, for Debbie Jones. As Debbie has moved into that next realm, we hold in our hearts for that family, that they may feel the peace that passes human understanding. For our practitioner student, Jane Elizabeth, for her friend, Cheryl. We hold them in our hearts, in our being. For Sarah Keel Bow, for Bo's dad, Samuel. For our cameraman, Don Hickman, and family, for his uncle, Bill. As these individuals making their transition and the individuals holding the individuals, we know peace. And we take a special moment to hold Hank Aaron in our hearts, in our minds, in our prayers, and we offer our extended prayers to his family. Hank Aaron, one of the most amazing athletes on planet Earth, 713 home runs, amazing physical athlete, and yet, and in addition, an amazing character, a stellar individual, a stellar human being that defied racism, that stood in the face of hatred and faced it down. We hold his high and mighty character in our hearts, and we send peace and love to his family. From this deep place, we allow this to integrate itself and embody itself into our body temple, and we allow Suzi Lula to pray in song.
Oh, great Spirit of love, giving freely, refusing none. Oh, great Spirit of love, eternal goodness flows like a flood. Oh, great Spirit of love, giving freely, refusing none. O great Spirit of love, eternal goodness flows like a flood. Love is all is love. Join us in singing the music of one in all in one. No greater blessing neath moon or sun. No greater blessing. Oh, great Spirit of love, giving freely, refusing none. Oh, great Spirit of love, eternal goodness flows like a flood, flows like a flood.
So we allow ourselves to be flooded right now with the Holy Spirit. Allow yourself right now to be flooded with the high and holy vibration of love. Deeply grateful. Thank you, Jamie. And whenever you're ready, gently open your eyes. It's really hard to open your eyes with that flooding of love. Thank you. Bodacious dream, thriving. Here's our first opportunity to practice it. So this is our moment as Willard is coming forward, and right where you are, we get to practice bodacious offering, bodacious giving. I come with a question to the offering. Will you be a bodacious giver today? And so it's the time in our service where we give back. We give. We become part of the circulation. So there are many ways that you can give to Agape to allow our staff, our ministries to continue to flourish vigorously. You know, we are self-supporting, self-sustaining. We're not backed by any, as Reverend Coco said earlier, corporations. She said the corporation of God. That's true. So your tithes, your generosity allows us to continue to thrive vigorously. So there are many ways. You can go to our website, agapelive.com, the banner, click on the banner. You can text to donate. That number is 424-321-6243. Text to donate, 424-321-6243, and text the word give. Simple. Facebook Live, text to donate, Agape Live. You can do snail mail. You can send it in, and as Reverend Michael loves to say, he loves reading all of your cards. He loves it. I see him reading everyone, blessing everyone. So we are grateful for whatever ways that you choose to give. And when I say bodacious giving, I mean it. Bodacious giving, but I want to clarify, it doesn't mean it has to be some large, grand number, although a large, grand number is always greatly appreciated. Bodacious giving means that you feel good about what you give. You give something, yes, to support Agape, but you give something so that you feel good about your giving. It's the quality, it's the feeling of goodness that you feel when you give. So give what you can, stretch a little bit, and allow yourself to have that good feeling.
Let's all come together and sing this song when we are united and standing strong.
I know.
There is no within the heart we share with one another, no other there. We are one people, breathing one air, one human family that we all share. We are one spirit, come from one mind, one heart beating, one life. One heart beating, one life. One heart beating. See our brothers and sisters in everyone. No one's outside the circle, no us and them. Live our differences, see what we can learn from one another. With love we affirm. We are one people, breathing one air, one human family that we all share. We are one spirit, come from one mind, one heart beating, one life. One heart beating, one life. One heart beating. We are one people, breathing one air, one human family that we all share. We are one spirit, come from one mind, one heart beating, one life. One heart beating, one life. One heart beating, one life. One heart beating, one life.
Thank you. Thank you. So now we're going to take a moment and we're going to bless this offering. We're going to bless your giving. Feel good about your giving. So in this moment, right where you are, we just hold out our hands, we open our heart, and we see that this blessing, this offering, this giving, this contribution that you have made is blessed, and it is a blessing to our Agape community, our Agape family, our Agape nation. We see that your contribution, your choice to give is allowing us to continue to flourish, to expand, to offer these courses and classes, to allow Reverend Michael to continue his brilliant teachings around this world, and for our staff and ministries to continue to flourish. So we're deeply grateful. We see that the blessing we see it manifesting beyond anything we could know to ask for. And we see that it continues to allow our Agape family to be very closely and tightly united and interwoven. And so it is. Amen and amen. Thank you, everyone.